Hi, Joe Martin here, and we've been talking to you lately about your job being essential. So here's the question. Do you have the tools to be considered essential in today's changing job market? Our 2-year degree programs do just that. From HVAC, instrumentation and control systems technology, to construction management. We have a degree plan specifically for you. So go online or call our exceptional admissions team to get started. ITI Technical College, for a better life.
This is Sports 225, incredibly starting our second quarter century. Sports 225 is brought to you by Breck. And now, me.
Well, talking to my friend Scooter Hobbs would be interesting by itself. Probably the most decorated sports writer in the history of Louisiana. He's a longtime veteran of the Lake Charles American Press, and that alone would make him a good guest here on Sports 225. But I mentioned Lake Charles, and that's where he is at a friend's house. Now, just to tell you to begin with, to be able to do this Zoom call, he had to go to his friend's house so he could get internet, and B, ask the guy working with the chainsaw next door to knock it off for a few minutes. Scooter, first off, how are you, and how are your friends and family?
Oh, I'm fine, playing a little golf, trying to get a spa treatment in every day before happy hour, No, the people here are fine, a lot of the city's broken right now, but the people are doing fine. In fact, it's been very uplifting, I've got to say.
Wait, you had a column. Thank you for forwarding that to me today in the Lake Charles American Press, where it was like
first thing I've written since the storm. I have been busy.
Oh, that was the first column you got to write?
Yes.
Wow. Well, you pointed out in there that everybody's being patient, everybody's upbeat, trying to deal with it. Well, how about let's start with your house. How is it?
Well, not good, but everybody has similar. It's a 2-story condo, and I lost one whole brick wall side of it. But
it's totally is it totally exposed to the elements?
No, the interior sheetrock remained, but yeah, the entire brick side, 2-story, probably 40 feet wide. And that was the funny thing. When I left, I rode the storm out, not there, but in a downtown building. And when I left, I had resigned myself to the fact that it was going to flood because everything they were predicting. Well, we came out that morning from the building downtown, realized there had been really no storm surge, and I thought, well, I'm home free. Drove over there, it was still barely daylight, drove over there, and one whole wall of bricks was piled up to the side. But even that, I got it boarded up by some guys, and it was phenomenal to watch. They got the whole thing done in about an hour and a half. Just amazing. And
so,
as bad as it looked from the outside, I really didn't have any interior damage to speak of.
Well, that makes you lucky. Obviously, I'm sure there's no electricity at your condo.
That is. I will never take air conditioning for granted again. I promise you. And I did get a generator, and my mechanical know-how. It only took 2 days to get it going. Me, particularly pull cord machinery, and I do not get along. But I had some help from my friend Ray Crochet, whose beautiful home I'm sitting in right now, and we finally got it going. And it's you can only run a few things on it, but small steps. It was like I was home again when I got that generator running, and I have been able to stay there since I got the generator.
Yeah. Well, I mean, any one of us who, here in Baton Rouge, it would take an unbelievable storm to do that kind of damage here. But we've been hit good. I mean, certainly the last time was 2008 when Gustav came through. Yeah. But when you have that generator and you can run your refrigerator, a window unit, a light, and maybe charge a cell phone, you're feeling pretty damn good.
Well, yeah, but installing that window unit was another mechanical and engineering marvel for somebody as challenged as me. But we're getting there. Lake Charles will be fine. We know this drill. We had Rita and Ike 2 years later, so you know.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, what you've been through in the it's unbelievable. Well, so tell me, because I saw a tweet, maybe Gilbo might have retweeted it or something, but where you were during the storm and how you rode it out.
I was in the middle of downtown, not far from here, and it was one of those old brick buildings. Felt very safe. Now, a building just like it across the street lost its second floor. Ended up a pile of bricks in the middle of the main thoroughfare. But I'd like to tell you what 130 mile an hour winds sound like, but I'm not sure because it kept changing. It was funny. I'm not sure I would do it again, but I never felt like, oh, we're gonna die. But the sound constantly changed, and you get used to it. Didn't think much of it, and then there'd be another sound. You think, well, maybe that's the big one, but you'd get used to that one too. And we learned early on, we stayed in an interior part because something hit one of the exterior rooms windows fairly early on, and it sounded like an absolute atomic bomb had gone off. So we moved to the interior after that. But we thought we were brave. We wandered out onto the streets at first light. There was a guy wandering around. Some fool had rode it out in a parking garage. One of these YouTube adrenaline storm chaser junkies, and he was nuts.
That's amazing. All right, look, we're visiting with Scooter Hobbs. He is the longtime sports writer for the Lake Charles American Express, who's covered LSU and the SEC for, dare I say, Scooter, damn near 40 years now.
Exactly 40 years.
Exactly.
He's got, this will be 41.
Good deal. We got to take this break. When we get back, we'll continue talking about Lake Charles, maybe throw in a little sports, which seem kind of irrelevant at this point. He's Scooter Hobbs. I'm Lee Feinswag. This is it's Sports 225. We'll be right back.
Breck is here for you. Refresh your mind online and outdoors with their Refresh Your Mind webpage. Check out virtual versions of some of your favorite Breck activities and adventures. See which parks are open and safe to visit, as well as ideas for you and your family that will revive and refresh your mind in a positive and safe way. You'll also find videos and content on Breck's social media pages. Visit Breck today without leaving your home. Breck.org/refresh.
Back on Sports 225, and I'm hanging out with Scooter Hobbs from the Lake Charles American Press. I was going to say Express, but he's of course dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Laura, and even living there as long as you have and seeing all the other hurricanes. This one was pretty vicious, huh? This one might have been
this one had much stronger winds. Now the godsend was we didn't get the storm surge flooding that we got from the previous two big ones, and that, to me, that about evens it out. The other two, it seemed like with the wind, it was kind of the lottery of whether a tree hit your house or not. This one didn't need trees to do serious damage to houses, so it was one of the strongest wind hurricanes on record, I'm thinking.
Oh, no doubt. Have you been able to get in your car and have you driven over to Cameron Beach, for example, or driven around Lake Charles?
I haven't left Lake Charles, but it's really been amazing to me how quickly they pretty well got the streets cleared. We were talking about, I'd ridden it out downtown, and first daylight, we started driving, and there was one trip I made that morning to a friend's house, maybe a mile and a half, and it took me 45 minutes. You would start down one road. Oh, can't go there. Too many trees in the road. A lot of sidewalk driving and stuff like that. And the roads are pretty much clear. Speaking of roads, this was a revelation to me. You probably read it in the column. We have no traffic lights. People drive better without traffic lights.
He said that.
I would have never dreamed that. But I mean, everybody, maybe it's this esprit de corps we've got going, and it would run out at some point and they'd be back to pulling out in front of you and stuff like that. But right now, it's no, you go. Everybody suddenly knows how four-way stops are supposed to work, and there aren't any traffic lights. In fact, in the last day or two, we do have a traffic light or two, and I swear it works better without. I have no explanation. I don't know. Lake Charles traffic's bad. Nothing like Baton Rouge. I don't know if it will work for Baton Rouge, but right now it's working here.
I think we'd have a hard time getting people to turn the traffic lights off. That brings me to a question, because you alluded to it in what you wrote, but we all know this from these type of experiences. These things will bring out oftentimes the best in the human spirit and the things that people do for each other. Can you think of anything you've seen or anything that struck you in the last few days?
Oh, it's just the overall, everybody has problems, right? But like when you go into one of the big box stores, everybody looks like hell. I mean, vanity is out the window.
Well, you told me you shaved for me for this.
They're crowded, the workers are harried, but everybody suddenly is patient because no matter how bad their story is, they know the guy walking by them in the aisle has the same story. And so everybody feels for each other. It really has. I think I used this one. I was the day of the neighborhood Walmart opened. Of course, there was huge lines. Everybody just patient. I'm checking out, and the woman in front of me takes off. Well, the cashier looks down. She had left 2 of her bags, on that spinning thing. And there's like 9 people. I was next in line. There's like 9 people waiting in line behind me. And the cashier says, "Excuse me, I got to catch her. She left 2 bags." She turned off her cash register and went running. And, normally people would be impatient. "Whoa, we're waiting in line. Let her go." No, they would cheer her on. Catch her in the parking lot. It was just a beautiful thing.
That's nice. Did any of your close friends or family get hurt really bad? Like not physically to their bodies, but their homes and their possessions?
Well, yeah, there's too many to name. I would say 98% of the homes had roof damage, at least.
Wow.
And what I was describing to you of the brick side of my place caving over is, I was thinking, how could that happen? But in driving around, it hasn't been that unusual.
It must be kind of stunning to drive around, though, and see. I've seen pictures of telephone poles down, trees snapped in half, houses that are just a shell of themselves.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. But, if it was a bad hurricane, you're going to have that. That's what insurance is for.
And, at least
it is anyway.
At least with the hurricane, when it's over, it always gets hot as hell. And we've got coronavirus going on, too. At least we got all that, Scooter.
Right on schedule. It's like 100 degrees and 98% humidity every day. Yeah. I think it will be a major, major step. The cleanup is well underway. To get back to living, and it's probably 2 or 3 weeks away, it will be electricity. That will be the next, big hurdle. The cleanup, a lot of it's still piled up around the city, but the roads are pretty clear. We'll get there.
Remarkable. He's Scooter Hobbs of the Lake Charles American Press. When we get back on it, I do want to ask you a sports question because, that's what we do. So hold that thought. He's Scooter Hobbs. I'm Lee Feinsbach. This is Sports 225.
Breck's crews are keeping spaces clean and safe for you in our parks during this difficult time. Governor Edwards deemed outdoor activities as essential in his stay-at-home order, but ordered the closure of playgrounds, other high-touch places, and banned groups of more than 10 people. So you can walk, hike, bike, or run in parks, conservation areas, and trails. But please stay 6 feet away from others and avoid the places blocked off by tape or closure signs. Let's work together to play it safe at Breck Parks.
Back on Sports 225, Scooter Hobbs is in Lake Charles, Louisiana, recovering from a hurricane and over at his buddy's house because he's got better internet. Yesterday, you told me you were somewhere where you tried to get in on LSU football coach Ed Ogeron's Zoom press conference, and it was really tough because the internet's tough.
It did not work, or maybe I'd forgotten how hard it is to understand Coach O sometimes. But no, I failed on that one. I was actually going back to work and maybe write something about sports again, but I had to rely on Twitter for the news of that, and that's always dangerous, of course.
Good point. Like we said, you've been doing this 4 decades. It's this football season, or the lack thereof, or the delayed start, and all that's been going on before the hurricane must have been just mind-boggling to you.
Yes. I was proud of the SEC in the way that they tried to trudge on. I remember I started writing back in April and May that this was going to be a different football season. You're going to have to accept it up front. You're going to have to make some of it up as you go. I got irritated with Twitter yesterday. I think it was maybe Louisiana Tech Baylor has been canceled for this week. And they're coming out of the woodwork. See, we told you. No, they were expecting this. You will have to work around some things like this. It's not going to be a smooth ride. But damn it, give them credit for trying. That's why they built in these open dates along the way. There will be some SEC games that will be postponed. You can book that. I am guessing that extra off week they built in between the last scheduled game and the SEC championship. I'm guessing that's going to be a full weekend of SEC football. But give them credit. I mean, they're trying.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about the open weeks, and the whole coronavirus thing is just the damnedest thing ever. I mean, it's one of those events that that has altered so much for us in everyday life.
Yeah, and you don't know what to believe because it depends on whose experts you listen to. I don't discount it, certainly. I mask up, I social distance. All my favorite bars are closed. And, I accept that. But, at some point, I think life does have to go on. I will say that. I don't discount it, but.
Well, the great Cary Grant movie, North by Northwest, when he says something about, getting killed, and he refers to having a couple of ex-wives and many bartenders who rely on him, Well, I don't know about you, but the only way that I've gotten through hurricanes leading up to, during, and then after has been a healthy supply of multiple forms of alcohol.
Yeah, well, it's a tried and true method.
Because of this, have you taken any kind of a mental or emotional back step to athletics and sports? I mean, I know it's your job, and at some point, you'll be required to write about stuff again and get after it. But it has to be something you just put on the back burner.
I kind of did. The frustrating part. I hate to keep going back to the hurricane when you want to talk sport.
No, but that's important.
Everything moved so slow. I've talked about how quickly, but individual tasks moved very slow, partly because you realize how much we rely on our damn cell phones now. and the service is still a bit sketchy. But the first few days, it was ultra sketchy. And like the simple move of texting somebody and waiting for the text back would take 45 minutes. You know, because you would have to keep resending the text, and then they might have to keep resending the text. I mean, for instance, one guy I was really working with early was, everybody in Baton Rouge knows him, Ryan Terrio, who has a company that does this kind of stuff now. And it would take us 2 hours to exchange 2 texts back and forth. So it was just, you know, that kind of frustration of moving slow. And, you know, part of it was my lack of mechanical knowledge, I admit.
Well, if you got a text back from Terrio within 2 hours, Terrio, you hear me? Then you're lucky, Scooter, because he's the worst. But that's no, and a great guy.
He was very helpful.
Yeah. No, don't apologize too by taking the sports conversation back. So we'll finish this segment. We just got a little bit of time left right after this. But I did a story for volleyballmag.com last week on Christy Porter and the McNeese State volleyball team. McNeese State's postponed even thinking about opening until September 18th, which is later next week. And that's just a pipe dream, probably. Sports at McNeese. Yeah, sports at McNeese State's way on the back burner right now, huh?
And McNeese football wasn't planning to play this fall. They will play a spring football schedule. So, you know, they've got some time to fix their stadium. I drove by it. I didn't look that close. I don't know how much damage there is out there. I did know. Shout out to Baton Rouge and LSU. I know that big LSU 18-wheeler that takes the equipment has made at least 2 trips over here, delivering supplies. I actually delivered them to the McNeese campus where they were dispersed out.
Very nice. Yeah, there's been a lot of people rallying to try to help. All right, I just got a couple minutes left, but I got to sneak this break in. He's Scooter Hobbs. I'm Lee Fine talking Sports 225.
With schools out, children across our community are missing the nutritious meals they rely on each day. Along with the public school systems, BREC has partnered with 3 O'Clock Project to have thousands of meals delivered in our parks. The meals are free to anyone under 18. Please visit 3o'clockproject.org/COVID to see the schedule and find the location closest to you. During this uncertain time, BREC is here for you.
Back on Sports 225, coming down the home stretch. I thank the entire staff for everything that's happened with this show, but now because of coronavirus, I am the whole staff. Zooming here from my office and finishing up with Scooter Hobbs in Lake Charles. He is, of course, the award-winning sports writer for the Lake Charles American Press and a friend to a lot of us over here, and regarded Scooter as, you know, maybe the most prolific character in Louisiana sports writing. That's always a mantle I think you'll never lose.
Guilty, I guess.
No, it's absolutely true. It has to warm your heart to know. You alluded to it going into the last segment about supplies and stuff coming that way. That people have rallied from all over Louisiana to try to help Lake Charles, Cameron Beach, everywhere over that way. Oh,
they really have, and I wish I could give you the particulars of how you can help and stuff, but like I said, we are so out of the loop. You just kind of focus on getting this tree out of your yard, or getting this little window unit into a window that's not designed for it, and that kind of thing. You know, we're kind of living in a bubble here right now, but I'm sure there are ways you can help. I would personally like to thank the Delgado baseball team, a little care package they sent me. Our good friend, the head coach, Joe Sherman, of course, is a good friend. And
absolutely.
Give him a
good
shout.
Deal. Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time to visit. Like I said at the start, Scooter not only left his damaged condo to go to his friend's house, who has good internet, and you can see the reflection in the big window behind him. Scooter's actually looking out at Lake Charles.
And I'll show him.
Yeah. There you go.
That right?
That's perfect. There you go. And
you can see the worst bridge on the interstate system right there.
There you go. All right. Hey, man, you take care. I know you'll be looking forward in a couple of weeks to be actually in Baton Rouge for an LSU football game. I'm sure that'll be a welcome diversion.
It certainly will. I hope they have it.
All right. Scooter, thank you so much. Thanks to everybody for watching. And this has been another very different but much appreciated Sports 225.
At carnival time by Baton Rouge Bay, that's the site of my story. At Spanish Town Mardi Gras, things